Hey everybody, happy almost Halloween and happy Monday night, which means more football. Got one more game left for week 8 before we look forward to week 9, except that we're already looking forward. So we're here to answer if you got early start sit question, waiver wire questions, of course, trades, whatever it is. So fire them up and then we'll try to answer as many as we can. Also recap some of the latest, what went down yesterday and what went down today. It was kind of a busy news day
Yeah.
for a Monday. A lot of times the injury reports are kind of still fuzzy, or it's like wait and see. We got some clarity on a lot of things. The lead, though, I mean, clearly the headline, the big news here is Lenny's back. Uncle Lenny, Lombardi Lenny, whatever kind of Lenny you want to call him. He's back and he's with the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo got themselves a running back. So, I mean, must add everywhere, of course, right?
Yeah, I mean, congrats if you've been holding him for 8 weeks. I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, look, I think he's already number 3 or number 4 trending on Sleeper, and I'm sure he'll be number 1. I'm sure he'll be number 1 after waivers run.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, how good do we feel about Lenny? How good do we feel about Lenny early?
Not too good. I mean, I was
Yeah,
mostly being sarcastic. Look, James Cook has been fine. It's in the, some people who actually follow the Bills or, reasonable have pointed out this isn't like a James Cook replacement or supplement even. This is a Damian Harris is still hurt and has been hurt and is always hurt. And also Latavius Murray, we kept saying, well, in the standard league, if you need him because he's been vulturing touchdowns and he gets goal line work, he's been getting goal line work, but you may have noticed he's not getting touchdowns. He's
no,
been stopped a lot inside the money zone near the goal line. So I think maybe now they just figure, hey, here's a guy who knows how to do it. He can just, put his head down and get 1 or 2 yards and finish it. Because James Cook, as good as he is, there's a reason he isn't used near the goal line. He's just not a big guy. So I think that's what we'll see for him, kind of 2 yards in a cloud of dust. And then
yep.
sometimes that dust will be 6 points. But,
Yeah,
well, he actually is also a pretty good pass catcher. I mean, you remember the last couple of years with Tampa Bay, because Tom Brady, his favorite receiver is always whoever the running back is lately. You think Leonard Fournette has some PPR value because he becomes maybe a third down back?
yeah. I certainly, out of like the guys like Zeke, Kareem Hunt, Dalvin Cook, the dusty vets who, you know, didn't get signed before the season or got signed, in the case of Dalvin Cook, got signed like right before the season. Leonard Fournette's the one to me that I feel like has at least a little something left. I mean, I don't think Leonard Fournette is anything close to what he was, early in his career, of course. But you're right. He's a capable pass catcher. He's been in the league a long time. Not necessarily great in pass protection. You would think he is, but he's kind of hit or miss in pass protection. But he is good around the goal line, which is we know is not James Cook's role. So yeah, I think he'll have some value, but he's certainly like you got to be in pretty deep leagues, I think, to be adding Leonard Fournette. But I'm sure he's going to get added in 18 leagues even.
He'll get added because of name value alone.
Yes.
Like you said, people were drafting Dalvin Cook way too high this year.
Yeah.
Zeke is actually still on some rosters. I mean, yeah. So whatever. I mean, look, at least he's a running back who is gonna maybe get some touches eventually, and he's on a good team. So there you
Yep.
go. There are worse options. There are definitely always worse options. Now, some other news. We might have some more. I don't want to talk too much trade because tomorrow is the trade deadline. We may have some actual trades. We'll see. There's some trade speculation, but one thing we were chatting about is there's some quarterbacks who are not going to play next week. One of them is not too surprising. Justin Fields. They've already just said, yeah, he's not playing. Okay, fine. Wait another week. Kyler Murray not playing, but neither is Josh Dobbs. So I guess we might see Clayton Tune, but you're thinking there's something else at play here. I thought this was just like, look, they've seen enough. He's kind of going downhill, but you're thinking maybe there's a trade.
Yeah, I mean, you never look. Maybe not, but it's weird because on Sunday night, last night, Coach Gannon said, "Yeah, Dobbs is starting in Week 9." They said Kyler, Kyler probably week 10. Then today he said, okay, Dobbs isn't starting. It's either going to be Clayton Tune or Kyler Murray. Like, why? Why? Like, if Kyler Murray is going to start week 10, like they say, and they have to activate him by week 10. If they don't activate him by week 10, his season's over. Which doesn't make sense why you would take him off the pup and have him practicing for 3 weeks and then be like, no, never mind. We changed our mind. So you got to think we're going to see Kyler in week 10. Doesn't really make sense to start the rookie for one game. Like, this isn't like a let's see what the rookie has type of deal. You know what I mean? This feels like maybe they have a trade in the works, maybe Josh Dobbs to Minnesota or something like that, because, yeah, it's really weird. Like, Sunday night, it was just like, yes, it's going to be Josh Dobbs in week 9. And then, like, maybe he woke up this morning and had a change of heart. Like, I doubt it. I feel like there's probably something else going on here. I think we're going to hear about a Josh Dobbs trade either overnight or tomorrow or something.
Maybe the something else going on is the Kirk Cousins being out for the season. So,
Yeah.
I mean, again, you never know. We like to put player X to team Y, and most of the time it doesn't happen. It might make sense. A lot of people are trying to connect Ryan Tannehill to the Vikings now because Will Levis showed out. There's obviously no reason why they would ever play Ryan Tannehill again in Tennessee. I mean, I guess he could maybe get them barely to the playoffs to lose in the wild card round, but that doesn't make sense to me either. Like, why doesn't Minnesota just see what they have with Hall or somebody and then just, if not, go? I don't know. I mean, do you think Tannehill gets moved?
I mean, maybe, but I think the reason the Vikings are interested is because the Vikings are a team ready to win now. They're ready to contend now. I don't think the Vikings are just ready. I mean, let me rephrase that. The Vikings think they're a team that's ready to contend now.
They want to win now.
Yes. Are they good enough to contend now? No, but they think they are, right? They think they have a chance. They don't want to just give up on the season. As far as Ryan Tannehill goes, I know it's easy today, after what Will Levis did, for everybody to say, you can't go back to Ryan Tannehill. But what happens if Will Levis throws 3 interceptions on Thursday night against the Steelers and they lose? Is everybody going to wake up Friday morning and be like, you can't go back to Ryan Tannehill? Probably not, because, this is how it works. This is how it works. It's how it works. Rookie comes out, shocks everybody. Well, that's it. He's the guy now. Has to be the guy now. Right? But then if he goes out there and throws 3 interceptions and looks terrible against the Steelers on Thursday night, not saying he will, I'm just saying if he does, suddenly it's going to be like, okay, go back to Ryan Tannehill. Right? So, and Vrabel did say last week, now this is before he threw 4 touchdowns, of course, that Ryan Tannehill is a starter when he's back. Now, if Will Levis goes out there and is awesome again this week, that's going to be hard to do. But if Will Levis goes out there and crashes back down to earth this week, it's going to be very easy for Mike Vrabel to go back to Ryan Tannehill. So I don't feel very strongly that Ryan Tannehill is going to get moved.
No, I mean, again, it's just like with the Kirk Cousins thing. It's like with DeAndre Hopkins, all these guys. Like, what really is the market for these guys? Like, who's desperate to get Ryan Tannehill on their squad? That's unlikely to happen. And I did say this on the waiver wire video when I mentioned Will Levis is I don't expect him to have that great a game because he's going on the road to Pittsburgh, which is pretty good defense, on Thursday night. He didn't get a lot of time to prepare. All right. It's a short turnaround. And now they actually know, oh, hey, this guy can throw the ball and he's probably going to throw it deep to DeAndre Hopkins. I don't think the Falcons were ready for that. They were probably ready for what we were expecting was they're just going to run Derrick Henry 30 times and play conservatively. So I think he caught them off guard a little bit. Just saying, not saying he's going to crash and burn necessarily, but yeah, you definitely got to temper some expectations there. What about in New York? Because Tyrod Taylor taken to the hospital. Looks like he's out for at least a short term with some rib issues. But now Daniel Jones is back. So no Tommy DeVito. This is kind of unfortunate. I wanted to see how that played out. Does Daniel Jones returning actually make you feel anything about this Giants offense?
I think we saw how it played out. Literally, we saw an NFL team that would refuse to throw the football. Like, they literally were like, we are not even going to throw the football. And then when they finally did, it was literally just dump offs to Saquon Barkley behind the line of scrimmage. Like, it was behind, here's Saquon, take a dump off 5 yards behind the line of scrimmage and please make something happen. I mean, at least it's better than that. Like at least they'll have a real offense again. So, and I think it is good for Saquon Barkley because look, it's one thing to be like, well, Saquon Barkley got 36 carries. Yeah, but the Jets pretty much knew every snap what was coming. Like the guy had nowhere to go. Like it's like, yeah, he got 36 carries, but all 11 defenders are ready for you to get the ball. So I certainly think it helps Saquon. It's got to help the offense to some degree. I mean, I don't love Daniel Jones, but he's better than Tommy DeVito. That's for sure.
Clearly. Yeah, I don't think that was the move. Yeah, because even the fourth quarter and overtime, you saw Saquon just kept getting the ball. It was either a handoff or it was a screen to him.
Yeah.
And every time he touched it, it was 1 yard, -1 yard, 2 yards, 1 yard. It's like, okay, you got to try something. No, they didn't try anything different. So,
No.
All right. Well, he's back at least. Good for him. Matt Stafford, day to day. I don't know. I'm kind of surprised. It looked worse than that. I mean, are you worried about Stafford, not just injury wise, but also the fact he hasn't looked too good lately?
Yeah, I certainly think day to day is very optimistic. I doubt we see Matthew Stafford this week. The good news is, if there is a good news, they have the bye in week 10, so maybe we see him back week 11. But yeah, you can't be feeling good. Well, remember early in the season, it looked like, wow, he's back. He's looking great. Hasn't been so great recently. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, look, it's still better than Brett Rippon, though. I'll still take Matthew Stafford over Brett Rippon. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm sure McVay would too. That whole Rams team, like you said, it was odd because we got like 3 games of vintage Stafford, and the Rams look great. They even look good on defense, and then now it's just crash and burn too.
Yeah.
Which is odd that when Cooper Kupp came back, it kind of coincided with the fact that Kupp had 2 huge games, but Stafford's numbers went down because all he did was throw a Kupp, shock. And then now nobody's having a good game, like nobody. So you got to be worried about just the Rams in general at this point. All right, we go. I want to get to some of your questions because we know some of y'all are waiting. If you got last minute, especially start sit questions for tonight, maybe you do. Maybe you have somebody in play here. I know it's the Raiders, but on the other side we got the Lions. Some of you need to make that smart choice, so ask away. Getting ready for next week, whatever it is. But I do want to also remind you, you got a little bit of time left before tonight's game starts. If you haven't tried Underdog, again, promo code Endgame gets you 100% deposit match, and it's now up to $500. Again, that is not guaranteed to last all season or even until next week. We don't know, but right now that is the limit. So every dollar you put in, you get $1 back, up to $500. There's a link down below. You can also click; takes you right there. And so tonight, if you do sign up for Underdog the first time, you can take the special of Jared Goff just needing 1 yard, just one. So you get that new customer special, and in honor of Halloween, there's also the Michael Meyer, even though it's actually Mayer, but Michael Mayer trick or treat special is 100K, I guess Tuesday this week because it's going to be Halloween. So 100K in prizes. Just take that pick, see where he goes, higher, lower, 21 and a half total yards. It doesn't matter. Use that pick, and you can combine it with this one, which you can't always do with the specials. You're entered for a chance to win. I believe this week it's $100 to 1,000 different people. Is that what it is?
That is correct.
There
And
you
yeah,
go.
this is a
So the
line.
Michael Mayer Halloween trick or treat special, the Jared Goff new customer special, all of that. And of course, they always have specials. Even once you're signed up, it's not like, oh, well, there go my freebies. Nope. There's always the free pick'ems for anybody, depending on whatever the day is. And then it's not just football, it's also basketball, it's also baseball, it's everything. So just make sure you use that promo code Endgame. Sign up for Underdog now. This is the time to do it. I almost want to say while supplies last, but there are no supplies. While the offers are still running. Let's start with this. King of You. So apparently both the Steelers receivers just out there on waivers, maybe a shallow league. Do you like one or both over Hollywood?
I mean, I like them all. I have Hollywood and Deontay Johnson on the buy low video.
Buy as in trade for, because in almost every league, these guys are already
Yeah.
rostered. So I'm
Yes.
not sure why they're just
They're
out
not on the
there,
way.
especially George Pickens.
They're not on the waiver wire video. That's for sure. Yeah, I don't know. I like them both. I mean, I like them all. I don't know. It's gonna for me to. I mean, I really. Whoops, my bad. Put that back up.
Oh,
I really don't want to drop. I
that's
really
the
don't
wrong
want
one.
to drop Hollywood.
Well, one thing, I wonder if this matters. We didn't talk about, because I don't think it's major, but Kenny Pickett did also get injured yesterday. Maybe he misses a game, maybe two, maybe re-injury risk. Mitch Trubisky out there. Does that push you off of the Steelers at all in any way?
I mean, maybe in the short term, but not as much for Deontay Johnson as Pickens, because we saw yesterday. It didn't matter. I mean, yes, Pickens did catch a touchdown with Trubisky, but that was all he did. Johnson, when it was Pickett, was getting peppered with targets. When it was Trubisky, he was getting peppered with targets. But I don't want to drop Hollywood, but I also want to pick these guys up. So I don't know.
I mean, if there's nobody worse on your team to drop, then I guess it's not like they would upgrade your team anyway. So I would say just
Right.
no for now.
Yeah.
What about this? Dropping London to pick up Dotson. Now, Dotson, of course, coming off a big game. Waiver wire pick, sure. London coming off an okay game because he left with a groin injury, but we haven't heard that that's serious, have we?
No, and in fact, I think what we heard today was that it's not serious. He may play this week. I'm not doing this.
Okay.
I mean, let's not forget, 2 weeks ago, Dotson, nobody wanted Dotson. He was doing nothing. London outside of week 1 has been pretty good. And look, it's easy to say, like, oh, he did nothing in week 8. Yeah, because he got hurt in the third quarter. And he missed almost half the game. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
he missed almost half the game. He still had, 5 catches for 50-something yards in barely more than half of the game. So, and the Falcons did hardly anything in the first half. All their damage wasn't, like, who knows what he would have done if he could have been out there with Taylor Heineke, right? We saw Van Jefferson getting targets, Scotty Miller catching touchdowns. I mean, if he was out there with Taylor Heineke for the, most of that second half, he could have
I
had
honestly
a really good
forgot.
game.
I forgot they had Van Jefferson until I saw at the very end they were throwing it and he dropped the ball that was right in his chest. And I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. They traded for him. Well, there you go.
Yeah. So this, like, I'm not. London's been better most of the year. So I would prefer London over Dotson.
If London was out for a couple of weeks because of the injury, okay, maybe, but no, I'm definitely keeping London. All right, now speaking of Arizona, back in the Hollywood discussion, which of these tight ends, and I've talked about them both, I finally got around to just saying, okay, fine, just pick up Taysom Hill. Just pick him up, and if you want to play him, play him. But are you preferring Taysom Hill or Trey McBride, who had a monster game?
Jeez. I mean, at one point, you just throw your hands up and say, fine. Just start Taysom Hill every week and deal with the consequences. It's not even like, I mean, if he's going to get carries around the goal line like that, if he's going to be their goal line back.
But the problem is, as soon as you pick him up and start him, then he'll do nothing. That's the problem.
Well, I know, but we're also talking about Trey McBride. And look, that was with Josh Dobbs. Now we got Clayton Tune. Then we're probably going to have Kyler Murray.
Well, that's a good thing, right? He's getting Kyler Murray in a couple of weeks. Zach Ertz on IR. I'm gonna go with McBride because I know he's gonna be a regular part of this offense. I mean, I can't say don't pick up Taysom Hill, but just
McBride. McBride's probably the smarter guy because we know he's going to be the starting tight end rest of the season. And
right,
I mean, with Taysom Hill, you're really hoping he continues to get goal line carries because did he even catch a pass in that game yesterday?
Who? Hill?
Yeah.
Taysom Hill
was he
yesterday?
actually involved I don't think so.
he completed a pass as a quarterback, a
Yes.
44-yard pass, by the way, which was almost a touchdown. He caught a pass and he ran the ball like 9 times and he got 2 touchdowns. So he did it all.
Yeah, because he's like I know Alvin Kamara scored twice, but his touchdowns were from like 16 yards. They were like from far out. Taysom Hill's the vulture here. He's the touchdown guy. He's the goal line. He's like he's Jamal Williams. He's who we thought Jamal Williams would be. Yeah, McBride's probably the safer option because we know he's going to be the tight end rest of the season. But anyway, at this point, I'm throwing my hands up. I'm saying, fine. Just start Taysom Hill if you want. Go for it.
I mean, I've picked up both of these guys in multiple leagues. Just honest. Now, the Taysom Hill is usually in a super flex league because I can throw him in a quarterback. And look, there have been times I've needed it because I had Deshaun Watson on a couple leagues. So why not? You know what, Fred?
Why not?
Pick up both. Pick up both. All right, Mary Jo, not having the most enjoyable week. You do have the stack tonight. Any chance of a 104-point game from those two guys? Is there a chance?
That'd be pretty amazing, but probably not. Sorry, Mary.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give you any false hope here. Sorry. Michael Cazares got offered Jacobs, Amon-Ra, Ford for Pollard and Walker.
Yeah. Give me this. I mean, Pollard at this point, what do we do with Pollard? Like, who still wants Pollard? People still want Pollard? And look, I didn't say it earlier in the year because I know how sensitive people get about the players on their fantasy rosters that are doing well, even if they didn't like that player before the season. Like, suddenly now I get it. Like, now that player's your favorite player because he's carrying your fantasy team. But Kenneth Walker was very touchdown dependent to start the season. And we've now seen it in the 3 games where he hasn't scored a touchdown. He's given you very little. He'll score touchdowns. Like, he'll continue to score touchdowns. But you're getting Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's a stud wide receiver. Jerome Ford shockingly played yesterday. He didn't play a lot. He only had 9 carries, but he still was better than Kareem Hunt with those 9 carries. He's going to be the guy. The Browns have a great rest of season schedule for running backs. And I mean, is Pollard going to be any better than Jacobs? Or significantly better than Jacobs at this point? I think you got to take the Jacobs Amon-Ra Ford side. Have to.
Yeah, I definitely do. And you mentioned the guys who you're going to talk about on the buy low video. I think Ford is one of my favorite picks there. I think you can get him dirt cheap right now, and he's going to be a solid RB2. I really think he is.
Yep.
Yeah,
I agree.
The first side wins, and not just because it's 3 for 2. And got offered Pacheco and Higgins for Pollard.
Yeah, I'll take that too. Why not? I mean, if this is the same team, I would prefer the Jacobs Amon-Ra Ford trade. But if it's a different team, I'll take Pacheco and Higgins. I mean, how good can we feel about Pollard in a game at home where they smashed the Rams and he barely touches the ball? Barely does anything. Like, that was the game. That was the game. They're at home against the Rams. They're crushing them. You figure they're just going to be giving Pollard the ball a punch, and he still didn't. Like, man, I can't feel good about Pollard right now.
I mean, it's partly the way he's being used, right? He shouldn't just be running him straight up the middle every single time, but it's also he's not doing his part, breaking tackles. It's a combination. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he's just one of those guys who's better off in a complementary role as opposed to being a feature player. But the season's not over. We'll see. But I don't think we can keep saying buy low, buy low, buy low. And
No.
at some point, we're just going to say he is what he is right now.
Yep.
MC losing by 30, have Goff, the Sun God, and Laporta, but going against Jacobs. What do you think?
Well, let's say Goff gets you 20, which feels very conservative for him. Then you only need Amon-Ra and Laporta to outscore Jacobs by 10, which I think they can do. So certainly not a given. Right? Jacobs can have some random game where he falls in the end zone twice or something, right?
Yeah.
But I think if I had to bet, I would bet on your team, but I would be sweating. I would be sweating for sure.
And I'm trying to see, is that
Baby goat?
Laporta's the baby goat. All right.
Is Laporta the baby goat? Is that his
Why
nickname?
not?
Goff's the goat. Goff is the goat. Amon-Ra, the son. And
That's
then
nuts.
Laporta is the baby goat? Is he Jared Goff's son?
The son of Goff. I don't know. This brings up questions. Yeah. Hey, you want them to be the GOAT tonight. Like we were both down on Jacobs. If the Lions are out, yeah, I think you have actually a good chance. You can't assume though. These games do not always go the way we think that they're going to go. Denver beating Kansas City.
They rarely go the way. I mean, that's the thing about.
Well, yeah. Yeah, very often they don't. All right.
Any given Sunday, anything crazy can happen.
Ramos 3-5 here. Trade offer to get Rachaad White. Give up JJ. That's it.
Well, look, I think Rachaad White's a great guy to go trade for right now. He's had a brutal running back schedule up to this point. It definitely softens up. If you're in a PPR league, which you are, don't trade for Rachaad White in standard. I say that on the video. I say, hey, do not trade for Rachaad White if you're in a standard scoring league. But in PPR, he looks like a solid RB2. He's got a great upcoming schedule. But for Jefferson, I still need more for Jefferson. I know people might be a little nervous right now because of Kirk Cousins, but he's still Justin Jefferson. He's still arguably the best wide receiver in the league. I feel like even without Kirk Cousins, he could still be good. He may not be elite, but he could still be good. So I think I need more than just Rachaad White for Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, this feels like it's not enough. I don't want to get too deep into the JJ discussion and talk about his trade value now with Cousins out because let's wait and see tomorrow. What if the Vikings do make a move at quarterback, or what if they make a move in reverse? I don't think that they're going to all of a sudden be sellers now because of this.
No.
You also, part of you wonders, it's been speculated, okay, what if they go on a losing skid now without Cousins or JJ? And then what if they're like, well, why should we rush him back? Why should we play him to the end of the season? And maybe he misses more time. So it's riskier, of course, to get JJ now, but I wouldn't give him up just for Rachaad White.
Yeah.
And then Juice 420 made a trade. Pacheco and Ramondre, yeah, for Bijan. I would take Bijan.
Yeah, give me Bijan. I know it's easy to look yesterday and be like, oh, he wasn't that good again. He was great. Except for some reason, he had 5 targets and didn't catch any of them. I mean, imagine if he had caught 3 of those targets and had 18, 19, 20 points yesterday, how we'd all be feeling about Bijan Robinson today. Because he played almost 80% of the snaps. Tyler Algier had half as many opportunities as him. Obviously, Arthur Smith was not messing with us last week. He just had that headache thing going on or whatever. It's like, yeah, give me Bijan. I mean, Ramondre Stevenson didn't even look good, and Pacheco in a smash spot didn't even look good. Give me Bijan.
Yeah, definitely taking Bijan here. And then Kevin is in 3 leagues, already 1 and 2. Very nice. Down 3, opponent is done. I have the Detroit defense. You never know with defenses.
I mean, you should be good, but yeah, you never know. I did not think the Eagles would get 1 sack. The Eagles got 1 sack against the quarterback who was not on record-setting pace, but on a pace to destroy the sack record. 1 sack. But you should be good. The Detroit defense should get you at least 3 points. But look, I mean, again, it's a defense. You never know, right? You never know. But 3 points seems very doable for the Lions tonight.
I think I would still put money on your side because it's Detroit at home. I think that they'll be good enough. 3 points, don't know your scoring system, but you should. But don't count your victories before they are finalized. This is a very astute observation. If I can bring it up, Rich Moreno. Well, let's see, it keeps going back and forth. Miles Sanders is killing us all.
Yeah, Miles Sanders isn't even startable. Not even startable. I mean, for real, not even startable. How many touches? 2 touches yesterday? Is that right?
That's it? I thought it was more than that, but could be right. It feels like he didn't even see the field.
And he was not on the injury report all week. So you can't, the weeks prior to
Right.
that, you could say like, okay, well, he was banged up or whatever. He had,
Wow.
two carries. He had 2 carries
Two carries
yesterday.
for 0 yards.
That's it. This is Chuba Hubbard's backfield. It just is. It's Chuba Hubbard's backfield. If you picked him up off waivers, congrats. It's Chuba's backfield. Yeah. Miles Sanders not even startable. Not even startable.
Remember when he was going to be such...
lesson. This is a lesson in, like, I hear a lot of processes that use, they paid him X dollars. Like, well, yeah. I mean, they paid Dalvin Cook $8 million. Look how that's going. They paid Miles Sanders. Miles Sanders got the biggest free agent running back contract. How's that working out? Using the contract as a reason for your process is, like, sure. I mean, there's times if it's like, hey, the player's good, the situation's good, and they paid him a lot of money, sure. But yeah, man, not looking good for Miles Sanders. Not looking good.
I mean, how many times do we see players who coming off getting huge contracts completely let down or bust? And I'm not saying it's just because, like, well, they're content now, they're not putting forth the same effort or something. That could happen, but also the expectations get put on them. They feel like they have to live up to it, pressure. There's a lot of reasons. Sometimes they're just overpaid. Who knows? But yeah, Miles Sanders is definitely the Halloween dream killer for fantasy leagues. And then up in Carolina, I don't know why my thing is glitching. Marquise knows about that. What's up, Marquise? It's been a while. Feeling like Devontae is going to boom. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, I feel like we're going to see a great bounce back Devontae Adams game. Anybody who went out and traded for him, I think is going to be feeling pretty good tomorrow.
Think so. Adam Fritz needs 34. Got Adams, Jacobs, and Laporta. Now you can get it.
Yeah, I like your chances here. I mean, if Adams comes through with a good game and Laporta comes through with a good game, then Jacobs just needs to be okay. So I like your chances.
Yeah, I like your chances too. Sir Boomer only needs 53.
Well, it's happened before. That's all I got for you. It has happened before.
Not statistically impossible.
Right.
So that means you have a chance. Joe Gonzalez wants to know, trade Aaron Jones for who?
Anyone.
Anyone.
I mean, gotta be anybody at this. I mean, this is another guy who's just killing you, and it's his offense. I'm done. This offense is horrible. I'm just done with it. And the defense isn't really any better. So it's like, this is done. Not starting Christian Watson, not starting Aaron Jones, not starting AJ Dillon. If you're desperate, maybe you can start Romeo Doubs because he could catch a touchdown. But I mean, even then, I don't love it. Like, what did he have? 4 catches for 18 yards?
Yeah, he's a touchdown only.
What was it, 4 yards a catch? What is this offense? 4 yards a catch? What is this? Just done with this offense. Jordan Love looks terrible. I'm done. That was a great spot at home. Great matchup. Terrible. I'm done.
Yeah. Not holding out hope for Aaron Jones this year. Not recommending Christian Watson. No. It's bad. It's getting bad. So if you can trade him, go for it. Doesn't really matter what you get back. Yeah, I mean, you could get something back.
Get Jerome Ford. Go trade him for Jerome Ford straight up.
Yeah. Well, there you go. Now, what about D-Hop? Because he's playing on Thursday night at the Steelers. Will Levis making his second career start. I mean, surely we're not going to see that again, but do you still feel like he's a strong start just based on that?
You mean he's not going to have 3 touchdowns on 4 catches?
I mean, maybe.
I mean, look, the last time we said a guy wouldn't do something, he did it again, so maybe we shouldn't say that. I can never start D-Hop with confidence. It's not a terrible matchup against the Steelers as far as wide receivers go. But I mean, yeah, again, you don't want to like Rashid Shaheed. Are we now starting Rashid Shaheed with confidence this week? Are we just confidently rolling out Rashid Shaheed?
Rashid Shaheed it's funny. It's almost ridiculous. His snap share was like 22%. Like he's barely on the field, but when he's on the field, he runs deep. And when he runs deep, half the time they throw it to him. And yeah.
Yeah. Well, this week, what did he do the previous 7 weeks?
I know.
That's the thing, right? It's like, you don't want to this is the thing. You can't get caught up in what happened this week and think that's what's going to happen going forward. Because I think Shaheed had a pretty good week 1. Didn't he catch like a long touchdown in week 1? And everybody's like, Shaheed. And then he disappeared for 6 weeks. And then, Shaheed again. And then he's going to probably disappear this week when everybody starts him. So, yeah, I'm not going to say you could start. I wouldn't say I would start D-Hop with confidence, but I think he's startable.
Yeah, he's startable as long as you know he could have a down game again. Yeah, Shaheed is the perfect best ball draft. Like perfect for that.
Yes,
Huge game.
exactly.
And when he does nothing, it doesn't hurt you really. So D-Hop, yeah, I'm still saying he's a good start, but we'll get to that when we do wide receiver starts it. Relax world. All right, sure. Hey, have Laporta, Taysom, and Kincaid. Bevy of tight ends. Thinking about trading Laporta to start Kincaid or Hill. Sure, why not?
I mean, sure. Go for it. Whoever can get you whatever can get you the best return. I would happily trade one of these guys, whatever gets me the best return.
And I'm in on Kincaid being someone you can start rest of season. Of course, he's not going to be good every week. No tight end is, except for maybe Kelsey. So yeah, I think you can do this. Trade Laporta and get something. You don't need 3 tight ends, that's for sure.
No.
All right. I don't know if this is just hopes and dreams or if there's any teeth to this. What about Jameis Winston?
Okay. No, you can't. That guy, CJ, whatever his name is, notorious for posting stuff that never happens. The rumor is they're going to trade him to the Vikings because if there's anything the Saints want, it's to make the Vikings better.
Yeah.
Like you know what I mean? Like
the teams love each other.
Yeah, I don't think they're trading him to the Vikings. Yeah. I don't, and it's not from a reputable source at all. So I did see that, but yeah. Not only that, the guy who did it, he put Jameis Winston in a number 3 jersey. Like, oh yeah, he's going to come to the Vikings and take Jordan Addison's number. What? Like, yeah, that right there should tell you all you need to know.
Yeah, and in our minds, this works out for all sides. Like, hey, Jameis Winston wants to play somewhere, and the Vikings need a quarterback, and the Saints don't need him. Like, yeah, but that's not how it works in reality. It's not that simple. So,
right.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it would be interesting if it did, but I'm not holding my breath. Miles wants to know, would you trade Hunt for Godwin or Hollywood?
Yeah. Either
So
one.
which one?
I mean, I think I prefer. It's close. I slightly prefer Hollywood because Kyler should be back, and in the fantasy playoffs, he faces 3 fantastic defenses. I think it's like the 49ers, which you think, ooh, the 49ers, but look how bad they've been recently. And even before that, they were pretty bad against wide receivers. Then he gets, I think, the Bears, and then the Eagles, who just gave up 4 touchdowns to 4 different pass catchers to the Commanders. They've also been terrible against wide receivers. So I think I would rather have Hollywood with a healthy Kyler for the fantasy playoffs, but I would also take Godwin, I think. Kareem Hunt, yeah, I mean, come on. He's scoring touchdowns, but he looks terrible. Jerome Ford somehow played and still was more efficient than Kareem Hunt. And Kareem, you know the other thing about Kareem Hunt is, like he was complaining about this yesterday, when it's the 4th quarter and the game's on the line, they don't trust him. He's not on the field. And he was complaining about this. He's like, why am I not on the field? Because they don't trust you. Because you're not very good.
The same reason why they let him go before the season started. Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely. This feels like a great sell high for Hunt. The guy you also mentioned in trade offers. Trade Hunt now if you have him. But I would, either one. But I agree. I slightly go to Hollywood because Kyler Murray should be back. And then Graham McLaren. 8 team need 20 points. Got the Sun God and Adams left. I would definitely think so. I mean, and Sun God is going to play, right? They're worried about the illness, but it sounds like he's going to be out there at least.
They already said he's active. Yeah. I mean, you should be able to get 20 points from these guys. You definitely
could get 20 from Adams alone, potentially.
Right.
All right. Traded Lockett and a defense for DK. I mean, you trade one Seahawks receiver for another.
Yeah, they've both been kind of disappointing, to be honest. But I'm really worried for them both. I mean, for the reasons I said earlier in the year why I thought DK was like the most mispriced wide receiver in drafts, because JSN would start coming on and we're starting to see that. But we're starting to also see Jake Bobo, the other rookie, come on. It's like they now have 4 wide receivers. So, yeah.
Sorta. They like Bobo out there because he's a good blocker, but he is getting some targets. I mean, this is true. It's fine if you like DK better. It's fine. Defense, whatever.
Yeah, defense, whatever.
Joel 167 will be 7-1. Awesome after tonight. All right. So, which now all of a sudden risky receiver do you prefer? Would you go Puka for JJ? Not knowing whether Jaron Hall or whoever is going to be the quarterback rest of the season, do you wait till tomorrow and see if the Vikings make a move to do this trade?
Well, the problem is, let's say they do go out and trade for, I mean, would we even be excited if it's Josh Dobbs? I mean, I get it's better than probably Jaron Hall, but I mean, are we suddenly going like, oh, this is it?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I would probably just keep Puka. You're 7-1. What you don't want to have happen is you trade for Jefferson. It's Jaron Hall. He's horrible. Jefferson's value is crushed. And you turned what could have been a championship team into a non-championship team because of this trade. Like, I don't know. Like, if you asked me this and Kirk Cousins was still the starter, I'd say it for sure, 100%. But now I think I'd probably just keep Puka. Not going to risk it.
I mean, I think being in first place, I mean, that's good, but I don't think the record matters so much as what your roster looks like and as far as your depth. I mean, what is Puka to you? In other words, was he your number 2 receiver? Your number 3 receiver? Do you have 3 receivers that are totally good and playable and then you don't miss Puka at all? You know what I mean? So I think that's what matters. And sure, I'm nervous a little bit about Puka because Stafford might miss a game or two. His hand might not be right. You know, he just might not be right. He hasn't looked very good the last couple of weeks before that injury. So I would say I think you can do this if you're not going to miss Puka at all. If you've been starting Puka every week, not just because you feel like it's a good start, but also because he's your best option, maybe I don't. You don't need to take a risk, just because you're first place. Vinny had Cousins, so let's pivot now. Waivers got good options. Dak, Stroud, Levis, Wilson, Love, Dobbs, Minshew, or Howell. I mean, I think it's got to be Dak, no?
Yeah, and the reason I make this face, Vinny, is because I would have told you to pick up Dak last week over Cousins, and now you'd have Dak. Now you're going to have to fight for Dak on the waiver wire because, look, a lot of people lost QB this week. Stafford, Cousins, maybe not Pickett so much, but you know what I mean? Like, definitely Dak. I hope you get him. But, oh, man, Vinny, because I know you're on here a lot, Vinny. Appreciate you always being on here. I wish you would have asked. I mean, it's too late now, obviously, but I wish you would have asked last week, like, hey, I got Cousins. Would you pick up Dak and start him over him? Because I loved Dak last week in that matchup. Yeah. Now he gets the Chargers. Yeah, definitely Dak. And then I guess I would probably say, Stroud second, but maybe Howell. Maybe Howell second. I mean, Stroud isn't really doing much. Howell at least is throwing it a lot.
Howell's been putting up numbers. I mean,
yeah.
Say what you want about Eric Bieniemy. They don't all love him, but you got to love him for fantasy because he's putting up points. So Dak's number 1. Yeah, I think at this point, you got to go Howell 2 and then put Stroud 3 because Stroud now all of a sudden, they're not throwing it as much. But maybe that changes this week. All right. And then, yes, we are a little bit worried about Pollard. We talked about that at the way beginning. Big Root, Amon-Ra, or Adams?
I think I still got to go Amon-Ra.
Yeah.
I mean, he gets the Raiders. And he's
I
would have Amon-Ra St. Brown over Adams anyways, and now he gets the Raiders.
Not worried about the illness because I know he's active, but I feel like the Lions have done this a lot where guys got something, whatever. and they just avoid him. Like there was an Amon Ra game like that, I feel like last year. No, even this year, right? With the toe thing where he didn't do much. That's my worry. But also my worry is game script here because we assume that the Lions are going to be winning, right? Or they're going to be up.
Right.
Maybe Adams needs to get a lot of garbage time points.
Well, I mean, I like Adams too. So if you feel safer about Adams, go with Adams.
I mean, obviously they're both studs, so I might lean Adams if the game goes the way we think it goes, but of course we don't really know. And then Steven, who are we gonna sad grab? I love it. On waivers. Oh man, it would be sad to grab Fournette at this point. Is it just Taysom?
Yeah, Taysom. Taysom, you might even be able to flex Taysom if you need him. I mean, if he's gonna get goal line carries.
Go Taysom. I mean, if these are all kind of random positions. I don't know what position you need. If you're just looking for a whatever flex, Taysom. And look, you can fill him at tight end. That's a good position to put him, unless you happen to have a stud. Put him at quarterback. Why not?
Yeah. And look, I like Shaheed. I talked about Shaheed a lot in the offseason, but Shaheed is who he is. He could go out there next week and not have a catch.
Right. He's oh man, I got buys or somebody's injured. I need someone to throw in there who could score. There's Shaheed.
Yep.
Syndicate wants to know with Sun God or Jacoby. Well,
I still got to go Sun God. I cannot play Sun God. I'm not. The thing is, like, yeah, they might do that with other players, but if they do that with Sun God, who are they throwing the ball to tonight?
Yeah,
Josh Reynolds, Khalif Raymond, Jameson Williams breakout coming tonight.
No, don't put those words in my mouth. I would never say such a thing. Yeah, no, in this case, I would go St. Brown too. Jacoby Myers has been really good, but he's not Devontae Adams. So I would go St. Brown here. And Chris KD, also 7-1. That's right. All right. Would we change anything here? Burrow, CMC, Kamara, Pacheco, AJ Brown, Puka, Nico, Watson, MT. Where would you improve? RB depth and who to try to package?
I think you're okay at RB. I mean, CMC, Kamara, Pacheco. I think you need more wide receiver depth. You got AJ Brown, Puka, and Nico, but I can't feel good about Watson or my MT right now.
Right.
But I don't know I don't know what you do here either, though.
Is this like your whole bench? Because that's a really, really short roster if that's all you got.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, you don't really want to trade CMC. I mean, you definitely don't want to trade CMC.
No.
You probably don't want to trade Kamara.
Whoops, my bad. Don't trade away Kelsey.
Yeah, don't trade away Kelsey, whoever that was. Maybe Pacheco probably still has some value because he was having some nice games before last week. Puka probably still has some value. Nico, I feel like, has lost a lot of value. Watson obviously has like no value. MT, I mean, there can't really still be MT believers at this point, right?
Really? You don't think there are? The Joe Mixon truthers were all vindicated last week.
They got their touchdown. They're back. They're back in full force. They're like, see? Took 8 weeks, but I told you.
Yeah, there's not much.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. Is anybody big on Christian Watson still holding out hope for him? I guess somebody is.
I mean, maybe.
Yeah, I don't know. There's not a whole lot, but I mean, obviously you're 7-1 because you've got a really good team, so I think you're okay. Vladimir Hurst, drop. Foreman, Rashawn Bourne. Yeah, that's another one we didn't really talk about much, but Kendrick Bourne out for the season with an ACL. That's rough for him.
Yeah.
For Gus Bus, Douglas, and Taysom Hill. I'm okay with all that.
Yeah, probably have to go Gus over Charbonnet right now, right? Even though Charbonnet did play a lot of snaps yesterday, but Gus is the lead back there. So I mean, look, Gus is going to be what he actually did even catch after we said in the stream, like he doesn't catch. He somehow caught 2 passes yesterday, scored 3 touchdowns. I mean, all right, Gus. Okay, Gus, we heard you, but he is what he is, right? Like there's going to be some weeks where he finds the end zone, and there's going to be weeks where he doesn't and he gives you very little, but at least he's the lead back there for today, unless they do trade for Derrick Henry, which I doubt.
Yeah. It did look, there are rumors. They said that Baltimore's looking to add a running back. I mean, I guess they didn't feel confident enough about Keaton Mitchell coming off of the practice squad. Yeah, I would just do exactly what you said, Vladimir. Drop those 3, pick up those 3.
Yeah.
Humberto is fighting for first, down 21. We got Sungun and Adams.
I definitely like your chances. Definitely like your chances.
Should be good. What's up, Joe? Joe Castle's up by 30 with Mayer, but he has Gibbs. I mean,
I still like your chances. I like Mayer tonight. I think Mayer's gonna have a pretty good game. So if you're looking at the if you want to do the 100K trick or treat special, I like the higher than 21.5 tonight. Put that with the Jared Goff. I'm gonna do a little shameless underdog plug here. Put that with the Jared Goff. I think he'll come through for you. So, anyways, to answer your question, yeah.
I mean, are we really expecting 30? I think it'll be a good game. It should be a good game from Gibbs. 30 plus.
Yeah, 30 plus.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe, but that feels like he'd have to do something crazy tonight.
Yeah, I think you're pretty good. All right, and then SB, trade Tua for DK if you already have Lamar.
I mean, might as well. I don't love DK, but like, what are you doing with Tua? He's just sitting on your bench going off every week.
Pretty much.
Not helping your team at all. At least DK can help your team. So, yeah, give me DK.
I mean, I don't really know. It depends on the league. If maybe you can get somebody better. Look at the teams that are bad at quarterback, desperate, who maybe somebody was starting Cousins every week. Do a little fishing. See if you can get maybe a little bit better receiver. If that's the best you can get. Okay, it's still fine. But just try to start a bidding war.
Yeah, true.
If you can. Don't know your league. Danny Morales, chances, Adams, and St. Brown give me 32 each.
7%. 7%.
That's a good number. 7%. I'll put
those
it
are
at
a huge game. 32 is a huge game.
32 each. I'll put your chances at 3.2%.
Yeah, it's probably more accurate, actually. I mean, how many guys even went over 30 this week?
Yeah,
3,
exactly.
4. Four guys went over 30, and one of them was a QB.
Right.
So 3 non-QBs.
Not great.
Yeah, so.
There's always next week. Now, this one I feel better. Simo, everything. Down 60, but you got Devontae Adams, Laporta, Josh Jacobs, and Jahmyr Gibbs.
I certainly think you have a chance. I mean, it never feels good to be down 60 going into the last game, even when you have all these players left. Because it's like, man, if they don't get off to a good start, you're stressing. But these guys, I mean, they should get you there. They should. Good luck. I hope they do.
Right. You're just hoping for a high scoring game. I mean, you never know. Sometimes you're like, oh man, I got all these stud players, and then the game is like 10-7 at half. You're like, oh God, and then you're just sweating, and then you're hating it. I don't think so. Detroit's been putting up points pretty much all year, except for when they played Baltimore. So I think you're good, but you never know. Genuine Glee. All right. Sell Gary Wilson and JSN for Eckler.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. I'm surprised somebody is doing this after what Eckler just did on Sunday night.
Yeah, they must be bad off at receiver, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, Wilson obviously had a good game, 100 yards, but I'm taking Eckler, like, for sure. JSN's not a guy you're going to necessarily start every week or any week yet. Saying I already have Brees Hall and JT. I mean, it doesn't hurt to have multiple stud running backs, so why not? You can flex Eckler. Braxton, what's up? Down 7, got Myers. Yeah. If it's Jacoby Myers.
Jacoby Myers, the receiver, yeah, I definitely think you have a very good chance. Very good chance.
Yeah, I think so. Jimmy G is back. I mean, that's definitely going to help. Jacoby's been pretty consistent, pretty solid. All right, let's do a couple of the regular. Look, just telling you like it is, Boomer. This is yes.
Hey, it's happened. I mean, we've had what? We usually get like a 53-point game or more most years, right? We get one. Like last year, Joe Mixon had a 55-point game.
Yeah.
But
It
you're hoping it's tonight.
it is in theory possible. Is it possible for Apex Predator? Oh, RE4? Is that Resident Evil 4? Need 24 points, Gibbs and Jacobs.
Definitely possible. Definitely possible.
Yeah, I think so. Look, we don't like Jacobs tonight, but we're also assuming Lions are ahead. That means you like Gibbs. If it goes the other way, maybe because Jacobs is running well. Maybe he gets in the end zone. So, yeah, I think this one will be close. This is definitely going to come down to the wire, but I think I still give you a good shot. Smooth Criminal Entertainment. Traded Aaron Jones for Javante and Downs. Look at that. I think that's
There
a clear
you go.
win.
Yeah, clear win. Clear win.
Still has name value. Brian Burnthorne have Kincaid and Waller. Would you drop Waller? I mean, we don't know his situation, but he might miss time.
Yeah, but I don't know if I would outright drop him because he'll still have trade value, especially when he comes back. So, like, I don't just want to drop a guy like that. Even if you're like, hey, I got Kincaid. And look, I know we're feeling great about Kincaid today. And I do like Kincaid. But if Kincaid goes out there in week 9 and gets 2 catches for 12 yards, how good are we going to feel about Kincaid? Like, you don't want to just like go all in on a guy who finally has one big game and just be like, okay, that's it. I'm all in on him, right? I'm all in on him.
Right.
So I wouldn't drop Waller. If you want to get rid of Waller, at least try to trade him. Even if it's like, here's the thing. If you're going to drop him, even if you sell low on him, at least you're getting something back for him. You know what I mean? You're getting something of value back for him. So I'd prefer to try to trade him. You might not be able to right now, but let's say he's going to miss a couple weeks. When he's ready to come back, somebody out there is going to be desperate at tight end and want to give you something for Waller if you don't want him anymore. So I wouldn't drop him. I'd at least hold him. I think he'll still have trade value at least.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. Like it's bye weeks now. And some reason you need the roster space. You can if we find out he's going to be out multiple weeks. If he's only going to be out 1 week, nah, definitely don't drop him. So just take a wait and see approach here. Don't drop him outright just because you have Kincaid. Jedi Koth have Amon-Ra and Jacoby with an 8-point lead, but the opponent has Devontae Adams. Okay, so we're asking to pick one. Who would you like better between the Sun God or Jacoby?
Yeah, I have a hard time benching Sun God. It's an illness. Like, we didn't hear anything like Patrick Mahomes where he was on IVs last night with the flu or whatever. I do like Jacoby, but man, I just have a hard time benching the Sun God. I'm going Sun God if it's me. If I lose, oh well, I lost with the Sun God. I can live with that. What I don't want is like put Jacoby in, Sun God goes off, Jacoby does nothing, and that's why I lose.
Yeah, I mean, 8-point lead versus Devontae Adams. You're going to need probably some points. Yeah, Jacoby. I feel like Jacoby should be fairly safe here. But again, like you said, you'd be kicking yourself if you sit Sun God and he's his typical self. So I would still go with him as well. Like I said, between Amon-Ra and Devontae Adams, I'll go to Adams. Between Amon-Ra and Jacoby, I still go Amon-Ra. And then J Army 916, 12 PPR, Stroud, Hill, Waddle, Rice, Mingo, Bijan, Gibbs, Ford, Pitts, Gainwell, Strong, Singletary. Would you trade Waddle for some depth? Okay, Lost Born and Stafford. I mean, I don't want to trade a high-end player for depth, but what do you think here?
Yeah, I mean, you got Hill, Waddle, Rice, you got Bijan, Gibbs, and Ford. Pitts. Yeah, I wouldn't be trading him just for depth. I don't think your depth is terrible. It's not fantastic, but it's not terrible. I wouldn't want to trade Waddle just for depth. I mean, like if by depth you mean you get like a good wide receiver 2 and a solid RB2, then okay. But if by depth you just mean like a wide receiver 3 and an RB3 or something, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I don't want two lesser players for my good player. So if
Yeah.
that's the question, then no. I mean, I get that you're worried about your depth. Mingo's not the guy you want to necessarily start right now. Rice is going to be good, but not great. But yeah, I don't think that's the move. Just roll with it for now. And then we got Reese Todd. Grade my trade in Dynasty.
Oh,
Went with Kamara and Higgins for Sun God and a first.
I mean, it's got to be a win, right? I mean, Amon-Ra in Dynasty and you got a first-round pick. Even if Kamara does this all year, now we're talking about what, a 28-year-old running back next year with even more wear and tear on him. Yeah, this is a big win for you. Big win.
In Dynasty, this is definitely a win. I mean, I'd rather have Amon-Ra than T. Higgins. It's close, right? Pretty close. But I'd give the edge right now to St. Brown. So you're basically trading an older running back for a first-round pick. I don't care if you win now, win later, win whatever. This is a win.
Yeah.
All right, and then we got Humberto again. 14-team league. Decided to handcuff every decent quarterback to trade them. Interesting. So you have Prescott, Murray, Lawrence, and Fields. That's a lot of quarterbacks. There's only Jones, Mac Jones. That's funny. Of all the quarterbacks, the one nobody wants is Mac Jones, which makes sense. Which quarterback should I stick with?
I'm probably sticking with Dak. Fields is close, but we don't know when Fields is going to be back. They've already ruled him out this week. I'm probably sticking with Dak. The Cowboys have a good schedule. I mean, they had a pretty tough beginning of the season schedule. And look, they were adjusting to a new offense. They've looked great the last 2 games. I think, I think we're going to see a very good Dak rest of the season. I would stick with Dak.
Yeah, just been kind of consistently underwhelmed by Trevor Lawrence. He's just yet to have a big game, and it doesn't look like it's going to change. Like, why would this offense change? Etienne's the one scoring touchdowns. I think you got to go with Dak over him. Murray, of course. Let's wait and see. And, I've been very skeptical of Murray anyways. When he comes back, how good he's going to look, how productive he's going to be for fantasy and Fields. Like, who knows? The guy can't grip a ball. So, yeah, right now it's got to be Prescott. I got to think, though, with all the buzz, that Murray has some trade value. I would try to trade him
Murray
first. I mean, obviously, you want to trade all these guys since you're stashing them to trade them. I would try to trade Murray first and then take it from there. And if you want to continue to stash somebody, hold on to Fields until he does come back and does have better trade value. And a big welcome back to Bear Camp Cabin Rentals.
What's up? Welcome back.
What's up? Been too long. All right. In a 2 QB non-PPR league. All right. Interesting. 2 QB non-PPR. Got Lawrence and Burrow and Kyler Murray stashed. Would you keep Murray or get Sam Howell off the waivers?
I would like to keep Murray and get Sam Howell in a 2 QB. If it's 2 QB, not super flex, if it's 2 QB, I mean, give me 4 QBs because, we just saw it this weekend. Like, what if your 2 QBs were Kirk Cousins and Matthew Stafford? Now you're rolling into week 9 with no QBs. So I would like to keep Murray and get Sam Howell if I could, if possible. And I would definitely rather have Nico over DeAndre Hopkins going forward. I still believe in Nico Collins.
Yeah.
Not buying into DeAndre Hopkins after one big game with potentially a rookie quarterback rest of the season or maybe Ryan Tannehill back. Give me Nico. And then, if there's any way where you can get Sam Howell and keep Murray, I would do that if possible.
I mean, even if it's just super flex, you'd rather have 4 QBs, at least a fourth guy who could be playable.
Yeah.
2 QB, yeah, definitely. I'm kind of shocked Sam Howell is just out there on waivers in a
Right?
2 QB league. He's been putting up
He's doing
numbers.
good.
So yeah, definitely get Sam Howell, but keep stashing Murray. I mean, do you not have well, I guess he's not on IR anymore, so you can't stash him that way. But yeah, try to definitely pick
I
him up.
think he's still on IR, isn't he, or is he not?
I don't know. I guess it depends designation in the league, and sometimes when a guy practices, they take him off and then they back. I don't know. Would you rather have Nico or DeAndre Hopkins? Nico to me too. Actually gonna, just give you this for, you guys are gonna watch all our videos, but I like Nico this week. I think this could be a bounce back week. So I like Nico as well. So speaking of D Hop, Brandon Wells, is he an automatic start this week? Like, do you just have to roll with him and see what happens?
Not for me. I mean, I think he's a fine start, like depending on your options, but again, I'm not going to go from a guy who I didn't like all season, wasn't putting up huge games, and then had one crazy game that was his first touchdown since 2021. Did I read that right? Or his first multiple touchdown? No, his first multiple touchdown game since 2021. First time he scored more than one touchdown since I think October of 2021. If I saw the stat right. I could be wrong on that. So I'm not just going to look at that and be like, oh, D-Hop is back. Like, no, no. To me, D-Hop is still what he is. He's still what he is. He's like, hey, you don't really have better options. You can start him, but he's not a guy I feel like I have to start.
Yeah, those were his first, second, and third touchdowns as a Titan. He didn't score it all season. And you're sure it coincides with Levis starting, makes sense, but you have to take everything into account here: the game plan, the opponent, yeah. I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna say he's an automatic start if you have, between a guy, and there's plenty of people who have rosters like this because Hopkins wasn't drafted as wide receiver 1 this year. Like if you're choosing between, Jalen Waddle and DeAndre Hopkins, no, I'm not starting DeAndre Hopkins. You know what I mean? So it just depends. All right, what about Apex Predator again? No,
we did
this
this
is
one.
the same. I think it's the same one, right?
Yeah, I think you have a very good shot. Very good shot.
Yeah. All right, Python, what's up? Gibbs outscoring Myers.
He definitely could. It'll be close, but he definitely could.
I mean, I'll say this: if the Lions are winning this game, which most people predict, that's good for Gibbs, but that also might be good for Myers because that means they're going to pass the ball, and fourth quarter is when he's getting a lot of production. So this would be actually close. And of course, don't forget to hit the like. All right, and then we talked enough about Leonard Fournette. We have questions about Leonard Fournette. All right, let's put this one up because it's Rise. Right. What's up, Rise? Is he worth the stash?
I mean, probably. He's a running back. He's going to have a path to touches. I mean, look at the running backs that we're talking about. Gus Edwards, Chuba Hubbard, Deontay Foreman. I mean, it's hard to say any running back that has a path isn't worth a stash. But I wouldn't go crazy for him.
No, he's like a $1-2 bid for Fab just to see if you get him. If somebody was to pay up, fine. Like, that's fine. There are going to be guys who pop up on the waiver wire the next few weeks. They're going to be probably more valuable than him. So only if you have the space, only if you're not bidding too much. And then gimme that hot dog.
All right.
Wants to know Kamara, Aaron Jones, Jacoby Myers, Garrett Wilson for my Chase, Rashee Rice, Gabe Davis, and Tyjae Spears.
Let's see.
I'm just going to say no because I don't think any of those guys would move me to trade away Chase.
Yeah, I mean, Chase way over Kamara. Rice over Aaron Jones. Okay, I'd probably do Myers and Garrett Wilson over Davis and Spears, but I don't know, that probably wasn't the accurate way to do it. But yeah, I still want Chase here. Well, let's see. His team is Etienne, Cook, Chase, Thielen. Yeah. Corn, Rice, B-Rob, Spears, Ridley, Higgins. I mean, you do have a lot of wide receivers, though. But, yeah, I still want Chase.
I think, I get the appeal here is you're getting Kamara, and because right now your RB2 is Cook, right? And so you're like, yeah, I have Chase and Higgins. What if I trade away one of my receivers and I get a stud running back? So that makes sense on the surface, but I would still much rather have Chase than Kamara the rest of the season. And we're not trading for Aaron Jones right now. Gabe Davis, I feel like, is pretty much equivalent to Garrett Wilson. I mean, they're kind of the same. And Jacoby Myers, yeah, but does he crack your starting lineup when you have Ridley and Higgins on the bench and McLaurin? So I'm not trading Chase to get Kamara. That's my thing. I know you're not doing that.
Yeah.
Alex Ayala. The Gus owner has stated his asking price in a trade would be Higgins or Olave. Wow.
No. I look, credit to the Gus owner. He's trying to sell high on a guy who's had 2 out of nowhere huge games. Yeah, no. Not doing it.
I love the current asking price for Gus Edwards is an elite wide receiver. Like,
yeah, not doing that.
You can say
not
no thanks, I'm good. All right, what about Humberto, Javonte, and Sharbs for Murray?
Kyler Murray?
I would hope. Not Latavius.
Latavius Murray? I mean, whether it's Kyler or Latavius, is there any other Murray I'm not thinking about? I don't think so. I'll take Javonte and Charbonnet. What's that?
I said DeMarco Murray's not playing still, is he?
Yeah, he's hasn't played in a while.
In his prime? DeMarco Murray in his prime, I'll take.
Charbonnet. Yeah, give me Javonte and Charbonnet. Javonte's kind of coming on. At least he's getting the touches. Charbonnet kind of came on yesterday. Like, he did this before. Maybe it'll stick. Maybe it won't. But whatever Murray it is, give me the 2 running backs.
Yeah, Kyler Murray's still at least another week away. And then, like I said, how much is he going to run? How good is this team going to be? No, I think you can make alternate plans at quarterback for now. Joe has Hal, Fields, and Murray. Would you drop Fields and wait for Murray, or what?
I think at this point, I would drop Murray. Keep Fields if you're going to drop one. Because again, I don't feel great about Murray as like a fantasy QB this year.
Well, like, I would just point to the question we just answered. There's a trade market for Murray now. You can get something for him. Get a running back with Javonte Williams. Do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, so try to trade him away before you drop him. Ranjit Mataru is down 22, has Goff and Laporta.
Yeah, you look, it's fantasy. Anything can happen. But you should win.
Yeah, it should be a big Goff game. I mean, I would think Goff alone could get you about 22 for more, but you never know. All right, Caleb Gurley needs Gibbs to get 19. There's a shot.
I think there's definitely a shot. He could definitely do it. It's going to be close. It's going to be a sweat, but there's a shot.
Yeah, and the thing is, just wish we could say we're confident in his pass catching, giving you that floor for PPR. He just hasn't been used that much as a receiver. We thought that would be his main role, and for some reason it's not. But he's definitely got a shot. I can't say it's in the bag, though. Even against the Raiders, it's definitely not in the bag. Yeah, this is an interesting one from Sway. Trade Kittle and Sutton for Hollywood.
I think it comes down to who your tight end is.
Well, funny you should ask. It's Andrews.
Well, yeah, I probably do this then. I feel like you could probably get a little bit more, but maybe not. I mean, since you got Andrews, I would probably do this.
Yeah, I feel like that's I don't know. I feel like that's an overpaid, but I mean, has there really been a big difference between Sutton and Hollywood this year in terms of fantasy points? I don't think there even has. So,
well, I mean, Not yet, but that's because he's been stuck with Josh Dobbs. I mean, how much?
Well, yeah,
You know what I mean?
this is true.
And look, Sutton has been good, but he's been living off touchdowns. Just maybe he'll continue to live off touchdowns. My whole thing for trading for Hollywood is for when Kyler comes back.
Right.
Because even though Kyler, I don't think, he might not be running around, he still has an arm and he still is a good passer. Certainly a much better passer than Josh Dobbs. So I do feel like it's probably a bit of an overpay. I think you could probably just do Kittle for Hollywood. But
yeah,
this is what it took. Maybe ask him, does he have some running back on his bench? Like,
whatever. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. At least get a throw in or something. I mean, look, I get buying on Hollywood right now. I think this is a smart idea to get Hollywood. And I definitely would rather have Hollywood than Sutton. But I just feel like you should get something more back, I guess, is what I'm saying. So yeah, see if you can get a good high-end RB stash kind of type. What is up, Dan? Dan Henry. Oh, but thank you. Very nice. I actually did shave today. Dropped Henderson to pick up Rashawn or Spears or DeMarcado or Algier. I considered putting DeMarcado on the waiver wire, but then I thought, well, look, he's going to be the starter for maybe another week. And then all of a sudden we're going to see Connor back. So not in on him. Don't think Derrick Henry's going to get traded. Bijan Robinson's not going anywhere. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely not DeMarcado. We should see James Conner in week 10. Algier, I mean, eight touches yesterday. Like, what are we? Yeah. I still do like Spears. I mean, I don't think Derrick Henry's getting traded, but he is up there. He's up there in age. He's up there in touches. We can't act like the risk isn't there. I'm starting to get a little worried about Rashawn because this was like his good opportunity to show out, right? Khalil Herbert out, and then what happened? He missed 2 games with a concussion. Kind of got overshadowed by Darrington Evans last night. I mean, he looked okay, but I'm worried about this was his chance to kind of maybe pull away a little bit, and he hasn't. So now I'm worried, okay, what happens when Herbert comes back? Is it just does Foreman stay in the mix? Because Foreman's been pretty good. Do they keep him up there? So I'm starting to worry about, Rashawn was a guy I liked as potentially maybe being a late season guy, but now I'm a little nervous for him. So, I mean, maybe Spears, but I don't know if I want to drop Henderson. Because my worry is somebody else picks him up, and they have a great matchup this week. But they play the Cardinals. I think it's Cardinals.
Yeah,
and they may not have Matthew Stafford, so they may just lean on the running game. And I would hate to drop him and have somebody else grab him, and then he goes off for their team. So I might just hold Henderson this week.
Yeah, I'm holding Henderson for these guys. I'll say with Rashawn real quick is I'm not reading too much into yesterday because I figured Foreman's still going to, he earned obviously the start after what he did the week before. 3 touchdowns, had a monster game. I figured Foreman will still be the lead guy. And Rashawn, after missing multiple weeks, figured he would be eased back into action. Both guys didn't really do much. Well, the whole offense didn't do much, the running game especially. So I think Rashawn does work his way back more into the mix, but missing that time kind of put him a little bit behind the 8 ball. And then, like you said, now all of a sudden, oh, wait, Khalil Herbert's back. Then got to be a little bit down on Rashawn, just bad timing, with that injury, the concussion he had. So I wouldn't pick him up right now. I don't think there's any need to. I mean, if I thought there was really a chance Derrick Henry got traded, I would say definitely Spears, but it doesn't look like that's happening. So just keep Henderson. All right. And then Tucker, we already talked about this, but if you missed it, Tucker Eldridge, Amon-Ra, Devontae Adams, you're going.
I guess Adams. Play it safer and go with Adams, I guess. It's just very hard for me to bench the Sun God, but.
I mean, you don't have to. You can go Amon-Ra. I'll prefer Adams, but.
He's coming off illness, so I guess don't risk it. You never know. Maybe he's not 100%. Maybe it's like Mahomes last night or yesterday, right?
Yeah, well.
So I guess just go with Adams.
They have the same thing. All right, Python's got a question. Grabbed Quentin Johnson because of the Palmer news. Palmer played but didn't do much. Should I hold him since he seemed to be getting more volume? He had like 5 for 50, I think.
Yep, 5 for 50. Palmer really didn't miss. He left, but only briefly, and then he came back in on the very next series. So, I think you can hold Quentin Johnson if there's nobody else on waivers worth picking up. I mean, just know you might be holding him for weeks and not get anything from him. Like you might be waiting a while, maybe the whole year. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'm not seeing last night as a sign of anything. It's a sign to me that Josh Palmer was not healthy, right? He was a game time decision, and then he did leave briefly. I mean, obviously he wasn't right. He didn't get nearly his normal target share, and Gerald Everett had also been injured. So, yeah, I'm not gonna buy into Quentin Johnson just yet. But look, if you want to hold him, that's fine. You can hold him, but I'm still not expecting too much right now from him. And then Python also wants to know what are our favorite pick'ems for tonight. I think we got time. We're pretty close to being caught up here on the super chats, guys. If you did put a super chat, we're going to get to it shortly, so just hang out. But he's asking, so let's oblige because we do want to make everybody who didn't catch us in the very beginning aware. You still have a little bit of time, just a little bit. You can take advantage of the trick or treat special. Michael Mayer. 21.5 total yards, higher, lower, doesn't matter. Take that pick and you're entered in this week's 100K Monday, I guess, not Sunday. And then the trick or treat special, that's what they're calling it. $100 to $1,000
I like
winners.
the higher there personally.
Yeah. Oh, it's a good matchup, right? Isn't Detroit one of the worst against tight ends?
The worst.
The worst. Oh, there you go. So take the higher, but anyways, just use that pick and you're entered in that contest. And then the new special, the Jared Goff special, just needs a yard. And then let's see what else we got here besides those 2 freebies. Because if you're new to Underdog and you just signed up, of course, make sure you use the promo code Endgame or just click the link below. Who else would like? Look, we're gonna assume. Well, look, okay, we don't do busts anymore, right? We don't do a weekly,
Right.
But because there's too many guys that you could say, well, I don't have someone better to start then. And we don't like predicting busts. We don't want to put negativity out there. But we're not feeling a big Josh Jacobs game. Do you go lower on anything like rushing yardage, or is the line too low?
I might go lower on rushing attempts. Do we think
that's a good one? Because game script.
Yeah, game script could be against him tonight. May not get that many attempts.
All right, let's see.
And I don't even think I feel like his attempts have started to drop. Well, now he had 25, 20. But that was Patriots, Packers. He had 17 against Chargers, 17 against Steelers, 11 against Bears, 9 against Bills. So, yeah, his attempts not quite as high in games that are losing.
Yeah, and then I would, if they had targets, I don't see a targets for any of the Raiders receivers. Let's see. Of course, the Mayer pick right there. Once in a while, I'll do a defensive player. Now, one I did get last Thursday, right? The Bucks and the Bills, the Taron Johnson on tackles, nailed that one. Didn't nail the Mike Evans one. Mike Evans did nothing, but Taron Johnson, I did nail that one. Let's see. Trevor Morig. Is there I don't see a Max. Was there a Max Crosby one?
Let's see.
I'd be shocked if there wasn't. No, there isn't. All right.
There isn't. What about Jared Goff? You like anything for Jared Goff tonight?
Completions, passing first downs, completion percentage. Interesting.
Wow. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
I have seen it once in a while, and I took it once. It was 67.3% for Stafford or something like that, and I went the lower and then wound up hitting it. But
Jared Goff's only gone over that twice all year against the Seahawks and the Panthers.
Right, but then putting that there because it's the Raiders, so you got to wonder.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm going to take that one. I don't feel good about it. And this is my general strategy is if I'm not sure, I just move on. I don't think too hard about it unless I look it up and I can tell you this 90% of the time when you look up a stat, you're like, oh, that's why they put that number because there's a reason, because it's firmly in the middle. Sometimes it hits, sometimes it doesn't. And even when you don't expect it to, it sometimes it does. So I don't want to take sacks there because they have Crosby. He could always go down more than 2 times. And I don't like that it's an even number, right? I want something where I can either win or lose. I don't want to take the push. You know what I mean?
Yeah. About Gibbs.
What about Gibbs? Would you feel good enough about Gibbs?
Man, 103.5 rushing and receiving yards. Whew.
I mean, again, it's possible. It's a good matchup, but has he done this consistently? No. I mean, I wouldn't mind going lower on that.
Yeah, I'm trying to see, what did he do? How many total yards did he have last week? He had 68 rushing and 58 receiving, so he went 126 or 116, whatever that is, 126. But yeah, 126. But I mean, that was the only game.
Right. Yeah, that one again, he could go either way. So what I'm going to do is just pretend it's not there.
Yeah.
Let's do one more at least. We got to give him at least one more that we feel good about. I'm on Raw. You never know. You should. Now, here's what I definitely don't do. I'll tell you this, and I don't anymore. Okay, once in a while I do because I get greedy. But I don't generally take the touchdown boosters because you know why. Touchdowns is so unpredictable. You're really just rolling the dice, or I should say, like throwing a dart blindfolded.
What about Laporta, 49.5? He's gone over 54 times this year.
Yeah. And if Sun God is not feeling 100%, yeah, I like Laporta. 4.5 receptions seems good. Receiving yards seems good. Targets, again, I wish it was a.
Yeah, he's gone over 5 receptions in all but 3 games. Maybe that one?
Yeah, let's do receptions.
All right, there we go.
All right. I think that's good enough for now. Of course, you combine those with one of those freebies if you're new, or just the Michael Mayer one. That gives you 3. You can keep going. Go as deep as you want. Or put an NBA line in there. Put one for the World Series. Whatever you got. WNBA, anything that's out there. All right. Got a couple more questions. I know game time's coming up, so let's make sure we at least get these in. Daniel Wright. Would you trade Olave for Debo and Flowers? Or Olave and Pollard for Jacobs, Higgins, and Ridley?
Olave and Pollard, Jacobs, Higgins, and Ridley. I definitely don't think I do that second one.
No? Do you feel like Pollard and Jacobs are close, or you still prefer Pollard?
I still prefer Pollard slightly over Jacobs. And I probably still prefer Olave over Higgins. Ridley to me is like, okay, whatever. Debo and Flowers, though, is close. Although, I mean, Flowers definitely let us down here in week 8, but I still like him long term. Debo should be back after the bye. I might do the Debo and Flowers one, but it's close. It's close.
Olave has been a little frustrating because he's getting a ton of targets, and half of them are either just not caught or uncatchable. I know one thing circulating on the socials you saw was that one where he doinked off his helmet because he just wasn't ready for it. You know, basically saying, hey, it's not all Derek Carr's fault. Who knows? Who knows what the thing is? He's still a good receiver. We saw his reception perception from last year was excellent as a rookie, even with that quarterback play that he had. Carr's throwing it deep. I'm still in on Olave for the most part. We're just got to knock him down a little bit. I actually might be tempted by the second side. I just don't know what the difference is between Pollard and Jacobs right now. Jacobs getting more volume. Neither guy's been super efficient. That's the key thing. It's like, what are we holding out for with Pollard if we think he's still going to like show out in the second half of the season? So
I just don't know if either of them are going to, but that's a good point.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think either one of these are doable. I mean, if you need depth at receiver, that would be the reason to do the first one or the second one.
And I am still a little leery of trading away Olave because, like you said, if he catches that pass and scores, no one is trading away Olave today. Like literally, that's the razor thin line. If he catches that pass and scores, we're talking about a 20-plus point Olave game, right? Because that was like a 40-yard touchdown or something, 50-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
And no one is even like considering trading Olave today. Everybody's like, oh, okay, Olave's back. But instead it doinked off his helmet and he didn't score. Like that's,
That's what's annoying. A lot of near misses there with the Saints. Look, if you need the depth, then yeah, this makes sense for your team. If you need the receiver help. What about this? Real quick, Terry R. Trade away Pollard for Mixon or Henry.
I think I still hold Pollard. I don't know.
Nah, I'm not trading for Mixon still, and I'm not doing this. I would keep Pollard.
Yeah.
Ben Sandker, this is a super flex. Well, it says 2 QB super flex. Lost AR, and now Kirk got Allen and Murray. But for now, stream Dobbs. Well, you can't stream Dobbs. He doesn't look like he's starting unless he gets traded. Garoppolo or Minshew, though.
I mean, we'll see how Garoppolo looks tonight, but I think it's got to be Minshew right now out of these guys. We don't even know if Dobbs isn't starting in week 9. We don't know if he's going to get traded or what is going on there. I think right now it's got to be Minshew.
Hey, give him credit, but actually, we should give Shane Steichen credit. This Colts offense, he seems to be legit, and he's making Gardner Minshew look decent. So I guess go Minshew. Humberto, the plan is working. All right. He did it. Traded Kyler Murray for Javonte and Sharps. Now got offered Dameon Pierce for Justin Fields. Like,
no. Just keep Fields. Dameon Pierce. No.
Dameon Pierce
not going to happen for Dameon Pierce. Like, Dameon Pierce, I don't know what he needs. Like, what is going to make it happen for Dameon Pierce this year? I don't even know. No.
For him to get traded to like the Lions and be the starting running back there. Yeah. All right. Sir Boomer has the first pick on the wire. Would you add Pierre Strong or Charbonnet or pick up Trey McBride?
You got Pitts. So I'm probably going to go Charbonnet. I don't know if I'd use my number 1 on Charbonnet. I mean, you do need Pierce, Hubbard, Sanders, Connor. Well, at least you got Hubbard. You got Connor coming back, so that's good. I mean, if it's the number 1 waiver claim and you're going to lose it, I don't think I'm picking up Charbonnet or McBride with the number 1. I'd rather hold it.
Yeah, definitely not for a number 2 or maybe number 1 tight end. I think Pitts will be good this week. I'm okay still with Pitts. And then Charbonnet, I mean, unless it just so happens that Kenneth Walker gets hurt this week and everybody runs out to pick Charbonnet, and then you're like, curses, I didn't get Charbonnet. Probably you don't need to use that pick. I mean, if you really want to make sure you have him, because maybe someone else is going to put that claim, I don't know. Yeah, like you said, I hate to use the number 1 claim on him because there could be somebody more valuable who pops up, but that's why I like Fab better. All right. I'll say probably not. I mean, if you picked up somebody, it would be Sharps, but I don't know if he's worth the number 1 pick just yet. Yeah. Ahmad T, do I start Amon-Ra, Devontae Adams, or Jacoby? He needs at least 15, so here we go again.
And I guess just go Devontae. And don't risk it with Amon-Ra. It's crazy you have all 3 of these guys and you can only start 1. Like, dang, what was the rest of your lineup like? But probably just go with Devontae.
Yeah, probably Devontae. And then Freddie Rod, trade away James Cook and Nico Collins for A.J. Brown.
Yeah, get A.J. Brown. Definitely. Who's giving up A.J. Brown for these guys right now? Wow.
Yeah, who's like, this is the time to sell high on A.J. Brown. He's going to fall back to earth. I mean, yeah. Okay. Rise, got a question. Just received Debo for Addison.
Yeah, I can't say I hate it anymore. I mean, man. Yeah, Addison was looking like a league winner. But, I mean, you got to be very nervous. You got to be very nervous for Addison. I mean, is it going to be Jalen Hall? Sean Mannion? Is it going to be Nick Mullins when he comes back from IR? Are they going to trade for Josh Dobbs? I mean, yeah, I think right now, sadly, I have to just probably prefer Debo, as painful as it is to say that.
I think you have to for redraft right now. I think you might as well sell high on Addison because who knows what that offense will look like. So Debo, I think that's fair. Get Debo for Addison. Now this is interesting. Boomer saying his waiver wire resets every week. In
Okay,
that
then
case, you
use
might as
it.
well.
Yeah, then you might as well. Go get Charbonnet. You might as well.
Yeah, that's interesting. I don't know if I've seen. Have you seen leagues that do that?
Yeah. It's actually I actually prefer it. Because it's very annoying to have the number one waiver claim and then be like, I can't make any waiver claims tonight because I don't want to lose my number one claim, even though there's people I want to add. It's kind of annoying, actually. So in this scenario, I like it a lot better because it's like, okay, who cares? Make your claims. I mean, Fab is still the best, but I think this is actually much better than the rolling. That makes no sense to me, but whatever. I have a lot of, strong opinions about fantasy football rules. We won't get into that right now.
Yeah. Well, we'll save that for the offseason. All right. Should I last minute? Hold on. This is Sammy B. Last minute drop Josh Reynolds to put Sharb on my bench.
Yes. If you can still pick up Charbonnet, yeah. You don't need Josh Reynolds. Yeah, do it.
Obviously, you're not playing Josh Reynolds. Then what's the point having him, right?
Exactly.
Any last second questions? Any last minute start sit for tonight, or anybody just looking for some optimism or anything? We'll be, of course, here tomorrow, live streaming. Big waiver wire show. Answer all your questions. Get ready for week 9. So, wow. All right. So you just never know. Aiden just got Devin Achan off waivers.
Whew. Well done. Congrats.
This is the weekly reminder. Look at the transaction list. See who's been dropped. See who's just out there on waivers. Because you never know. Sometimes you'll be surprised. I mean, Dolphins weren't even like on bye or anything. Why? All right. And thank you, 95. Officially became a member. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, guys. I'm going to call it. Enjoy tonight's game and get ready for tomorrow. I'm not talking about Halloween. I'm talking about our waiver wire live stream that we're going to do tomorrow evening. So We'll see you then. Of course, start sit and all that is coming out. Python also. You already were a member. I just became another member. All right.
Thank you. Not sure how that works, but thank you.
Appreciate that. Yeah, I literally don't know how that works, but whatever. All right. Thank you very much. 95. Does have a question? Adams or Myers?
I'm going Adams. Yeah, I like Adams.
Yeah. All right. Good luck, guys. Enjoy the game tonight. We'll see you tomorrow.